Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ladies Fashion Showcase with myself, Astrid, and my good partner here, Melball. How are you, Mel?
Yeah, it has been a week. Let me
Yes.
tell you. It was supposed to be a nice, relaxing week for this girl having a vacation, going to the mountains. Unfortunately, that was not the case. So here we are, a little sick, a little stressed out, but you know what?
Mm.
It is what it is, and we're here to talk some amazing ladies in wrestling. My friend, how are you doing?
Good. I had to highlight this comment before we move on. Mel on camera and no Eddie Thorpe on the menu.
Yeah, it's a disappointing day all around, isn't it,
Yeah.
Ed?
Mr. Joshua Joseph. No, this is not pre-recorded. We're live and in color today, actually.
Hello.
We thought about doing
Okay.
a pre-recorded, but it wouldn't feel the same because we like to do this live when we can.
Yes. We like to interact with you guys.
Yeah, I unfortunately we couldn't do it last week because I was working on a rare Friday and I wanted to do it, but I couldn't get home on time, unfortunately. And I'm sick as well, so we got a little bit of them allergies going on, and I got my fan because of Florida summer, and it's super hot as well. But I do apologize ahead of time. I don't know if there might be some noise because I have some construction going on the wall beside me. If it happens, I will mute it hopefully ahead of time.
Sounds like
But
someone's mowing the lawn outside, so we're gonna have the same problem.
yeah, we're hearing this, but I figured it's our show, so it doesn't really matter for us at the same time.
Mhm.
To say before we move on to our topics, we got Ed here, and then we got Bobby. With Bobby Petito,
Happy,
we got two Bobbies. So I hope you guys have a missing Friday. Thank you, Bobby, for
happy
being
Bobby.
here. And then we have Owali. Hello, everyone. Owali, happy Friday to you all. And then here we have Bobby Munson. That's why I said there's two Bobbies.
Happy
Hello,
Bobby.
Bobby.
Baby
And then
Bobby.
we have and here with the first one, thoughts on Masha being the highest ranked woman on the PWI 500 that just came out. That's amazing, though. She was ranked number 15, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty amazing for a woman, the highest ever. So it's like I
Mhm.
was super shocked, but it's still incredible to see. And there were so many other women on part of the PWI that just came out. I have to download the digital version, so hopefully in the next episode we'll be able to like kind of discuss a little bit more because this is a regular PWI, it's not the women's PWI, it's everybody mixed together. So I
Ah.
definitely want to read it over and see up the significant women that are in this one and their ranks
Mhm.
in there as well. I know at least Billy Starks was 96, and congratulations to Billy. That's really amazing to see her being part of that as well. And so many other women too. I haven't been able to look at it. That's why I said I have to download the digital version while the physical one comes out because I like getting the physicals too. But yeah, it's really nice to see
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
many other women like ranking in so many spots. I know Becca jumped a lot of spots in there too. I forgot what spot she was in right now, but she definitely jumped a lot of them there too. But yeah, I love seeing how happy the women are to be part of the pre WI 500, and they like surprised when they see it and like celebrating that. But I just love seeing it though, with that representation there too. And as Joshua Joseph, holy greatness, that's fantastic live show with Ed on the YouTube. That is always on the YouTube. So am I. I can't say anything bad about it. I prefer YouTube over Twitch. But did you see any other PWI at least posts on like social media? I don't know if you did or not. I don't remember.
I did. I saw Jodie Threat had posted her place on there. Super proud of her for that. I think she was like 249,
Yeah, I think
259.
so. Hmm.
Yeah, super proud of her. Very deserving. She's worked very, very hard. Been traveling all over the country, all over the world, debuting on Impact. And good for her.
Yes.
I did see Masha also, but I
Um,
haven't seen anyone else. But on top, also, I just got home from vacation.
that's true.
I didn't have a whole ton of self service in the mountains, so I'm still catching up on my weekly kind of stuff here. But yeah, we'll have to get a digital copy and take a look at that,
Mhm.
see what we think,
I
and
do
definitely
know.
have a discussion on Ladies Wrestling
Oh,
Showcase about it.
I found another one too that I wanted to highlight. Zoe Zager was
Ooh.
127 as well for the PWI there, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and Shaza McKenzie, that's another one. She was 250. So that means I think Jody must have been 249. But yeah, it's like I love seeing so many women, and I love the fact that there's so much representation across so many companies because
Hmm.
there was a lot of Impact people on that list too, which I'm very happy about because Impact I feel like doesn't
Hmm.
get enough credit for what they do, especially for the ladies. But to see so many people ranked in there. And my number one, and will always be my number one, Seth Rollins being number one, and having the three Shield members as 1, 2, and 3 all in a row there as well. My Shield heart was very, very happy to see that as well, and to see that
Mhm.
like Rollins tweeting the gif of like the fist between the Shield, as they always say, like they're always going to be on top of the industry, and obviously this really shows it. Yeah, I was really just a happy camper seeing Seth Rollins. That's why I want to get a physical version because Rollins is one of my favorites. Will always be. So to have him be number one, I was a happy Rollins fan yesterday when I saw that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so definitely I want to see that, and I want to get the other one for the women too, because the
Mhm.
woman I think it went up now. I think it went from 100 to 200 or 250. I know I saw Christian tweeted about it that they had to put up the number of women because there's so many women right now that they couldn't just do the regular 100 they do, so it definitely went up. So that's pretty
Hmm.
awesome.
I mean, with myself, I know Andre's gonna be, agreeing with me on this one. I definitely felt that our personal favorite, Mr. Will Ospreay, was a little low, but also I feel like John Moxley, a little high. I don't feel that he's contributed as much
Mhm.
as he could or he should, and also the public bloodletting is kind of getting old. Um, However,
Yeah.
that's what makes wrestling so amazing, though. It's very subjective, so
Mhm.
that what other people
Mhm.
enjoy isn't necessarily what I enjoy, and that's well and okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's another thing I like about it too. The fact that there's so many different styles and so many different personalities and
mhm,
characters is part of it. And you might think, oh, I don't like this person, but you have to think about the ranking in itself of why they're
mhm,
there. It's not just because you like them or not. It's because not only like the number of matches they had in that year that they actually look for the ranking, but the number of victories they have within that year and things like that. So they actually look at different stats, so it's not because you're like, oh, hey, I like him, so I got to put him in the top 10. Even if you don't like him, they might be a little lower because they
mhm,
were out of
mhm,
action and things like that. So you never really know.
mhm, mhm.
Um,
And especially depending on who watches what and all of that stuff.
mhm,
I don't watch AEW. I don't watch
mhm,
WWE. So when I see all these AEW and WWE people in the higher ranks, I'm like, why though? Well, because I don't see them. I don't see what they're doing. I see them on Instagram, but I don't see what they're doing on their shows or anything else like that. So
mhm.
their wins and losses and draws are inconsequential to me.
Yeah. And as Josh is saying, what has Mox done this year?
I
Jeez.
don't know. I don't follow him. I know he has wandered around bleeding a lot from what I have seen. But like you probably be a little bit easier to answer that question than me.
Uh, I just feel like it's one of those things like for him, I know he's been, even if we don't, if we see him in AEW, he also has been in the indies, like if he and
Mhm,
like
mhm,
between both of them. So I think that's another thing that we have to think about, like the number of matches he's had this year. Even if we don't like the type of match, even if we don't like the bleeding, he's been working, and that's what they count towards it. But
mhm,
that's, I will say that that factor more than anything towards this. And I figured
mhm.
this question would be more for you than for me, but I figured I'll bring it up. From Bobby Petito, who do you guys think is going to wrestle against Julia for the NJPW Strong Women's Championship at NJPW Strong Fighting Spirit Unleashed on October 28th? Oh my gosh, it's a long one.
Yeah, yeah, and that one's a pretty decently a little bit long a ways away there.
Mhm.
There's still a lot of time for them to kind of pick somebody to kind of put in that place. I would personally like to see it be someone from the U.S. challenge for her, just because we did just recently see her challenge with Risa Sarah, which we will get to later in the show here. But I would like to see her face somebody from the United States or that kind of neck of the woods.
Mhm.
Personally, would like to see her challenge with Megan Bain, the Megasis, who has just kind of followed Utami back to Japan from her tour in the U.S. here. Megan Bain's been on a rampage. No pun intended. That woman is heads and tails above most of the taller women within
Yeah.
stardom there. And I just saw her team up with little May Sarah, who's like barely comes up to the girl's hip, against Rose Gold, the Club Venus, Mina Shirakawa, and Mariah May. And even Mariah May is pretty tall. She was
Mhm.
dwarfed by Megan Bain. And Megan Bayne is just a powerhouse of a wrestler. I feel she would have some problems maybe contending with the technicality and transitioning of Julia. So I think that would be something I would love to kind of see with a styling kind of mix. But did I see Stephanie Vacquier pop up in
Yeah,
there?
yeah. Bobby's saying the great that Stephanie Vaquer's wrestling
Yeah,
again at NJPW.
100%. She is a tremendous talent who I think we haven't seen enough of in America, North America in general. She's been kind of killing it down there in CMLL, I believe. In the meantime, yeah, that would be a fun one. We did see her within that kind of tournament esque thing for that strong title, along with Momokoko and with Willow. I would personally love to see that. I would love to see that because she's got that very fun, unique look. She's really young, she's really pretty, but man, her wrestling is also just off the chain. Yeah, that would be a great suggestion. Good suggestion,
Yeah.
Bobby.
Here we go. Thank you for the little spark zones here. We had Jody Thread 215, Kenzie Page 245, Kid Bandit 282, Alexia Nicole 357, Max the Impaler 364, and then
Where are my
Zoe, as we
stardom
mentioned.
people, Ed? Who are these people?
Well, this is it's a regular PWI, but I figure when we get the women's one, we'll get more stardom representation in there because they did last year. And then Sonny Kiss at 431. But this is just a general one. Hence, that's why there's a lot of women represented in it. It's, I don't want to say rare, but it's like every now and then you see one.
Mm,
But yeah, they just thought the highest one will be then. Oh my gosh, I remember like her name, Masha. Now that she's 15. Um,
mhm.
and Ed saying Becca 166 as well. Yeah, I know Becca's another one that I saw the graphic that Kirsten had posted that she jumped a lot of spots there too. And as Bobby says, Ed, the list revolves around Becca because remember we're living in her world, Beckinator for life.
I did not read that as Baconator. I read that as Baconator,
I
and
did
now
at first
I
too.
want a Wendy's burger. Thanks, Ed.
I'm
Thanks a
glad I'm the
lot.
only one. I read Baconator at first and it took me a moment. I was like, oh, never mind. I remember now. So yeah, as Ed is saying, it started either they didn't make the list or they didn't recognize the name, but it's mostly that they didn't make it because it's mixed for men and women there too.
Mm,
Yeah.
just got to watch Andre and Melball's wrestling talk. We'll
There
let
you
you know
go.
all the names.
Yes, that's true. Oh, I figure since we have it here, let me see if I do have it here. I do believe I do. No, I don't. Okay. Let's see. I'll get it momentarily, hopefully. If I got it, maybe. No, my computer hates me. I thought it would be towards the top here for me to have. There we go. Found it. I knew I had it there somewhere. I know I figure we usually like to plug our stuff at the end, but since we're talking about your channel, might as well bring this up and tell everybody
Oh,
what you're
yes.
doing. We have to talk about it because you talked about mine, so we got to talk about yours now.
No, yes, yes. Another source of my stress this week, preparing the PowerPoint presentation for our intro to Japanese wrestling happening at the Edmonton Expo. Andre and myself, we're going to be pretty much introducing the Edmonton area to anything NJPWN stardom. Andre wants to throw a little bit more in there. We'll see if we have time in our 45-minute time slot. But if you're interested in coming down and meeting us, chatting with us about some professional wrestling in Japan, Saturday, September 16th. So that's going to be tomorrow, 3 p.m. Mountain Time in the Anime Room and Edmonton Expo. We're going to be having so much fun. I'm so excited. Also nervous. Oh,
There
it's
you
going to
go.
be fun. Yeah, now I'm hungry. At least
I'm
we
glad I'm
can
not the
go
only
get
one.
it. I'm
I'm glad I'm not the
recording
only one
now.
that
Go get
saw
me
that.
one
So
too.
yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that read Baconator at first. It took me a moment, but I got it. I
I
got
don't
it
even
now.
think that we have them right now. I think that they're not. I think they're a seasonal thing for us. I think.
What?
I could be wrong. I also the girl works out. She doesn't eat out very
I know.
much,
No excuses for
so
this
I
one.
don't really know. I went to McDonald's yesterday on my way home and was surprised to see a ranch McChicken. So like that was weird.
Oh, jeez.
This is how out of touch I am with fast food. But before we waste any more time, lady, we should talk about some of these amazing topics that we got planned. Because wow, a
Yeah,
lot happening in the few weeks that we've been doing this.
yeah. That's the funny thing. I can take a picture of when I have or when he's 4 minutes away. Then that's very convenient. I have one like maybe 5 minutes away from me, more or less. Depends on the lights. But
Your girl lives in the boonies of Edmonton, so there's no closeness. to her. And it might be a Fat Friday, but this week was a vacation, so the whole week was a Fat Friday. She can't do it. She can't
That's
do
true.
it.
But yeah, for the first topic that we had an unexpected return this Monday Night Raw to end the show. I know it was, I would say, like a mixed one from what I saw on my timeline, at least on Twitter. So I definitely was mixed on it as well. For the super that didn't watch it, we have Raquel going against Rhea for the women's championship, and then I figured something was gonna happen. I just did not expect this to happen. We had Nia Jax of all people as attacking not only Raquel but Rhea as well, and then just coming out to end the show and just doing her thing. It just this one's one that, well, I'll let you talk about it first from your end because I know you don't watch it. I just told you what
Mhm.
happened, obviously, because of that. And then as
I did see
Edison
the clip.
rejoiced,
I saw
the
the
whole
clip of
clip
it.
is back. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what did you think about it? And like, I don't know if you saw the same thing I did on your timeline when it came to her return.
For me, I pretty much saw the clip. Oh dear. I pretty much saw from the moment she was kind of like meandering around ringside, and then subsequently attacks Raquel, then attacks Rian, doing a leg drop on the apron there. Well, for starters, before we talk about Nia, Rhea sold the hell out of that leg drop. My
Mhm.
goodness, that woman works so hard. Tremendous talent. I'm very happy that they put the title on her and that she's been having the fun that she has been. Um, in regards to Nia, uh, from I'm trying to take the same stance that I took with her that I took with Eva Marie coming back, which was I hate Eva Marie. I feel like she ruins most things that she touches.
If not
Um,
all. Yeah.
yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, she's not someone that I like seeing in professional wrestling. But when she came back, I was very determined to be like, you know what? I've been seeing on social media she has been training. She's been posting things about her training, and she's been doing it for a few months. Hypothetically speaking, if you are training regularly, at least a few times a week, hypothetically speaking, you're going to get better at the thing that it is that you are doing. Again, like hypothetically speaking. So I'm trying to take the same stance with Naya. I have been seeing on her social media, she's been training over the last few months. We've seen her pop up in Mercedes Instagram. We've seen her popping up in Charlotte's Instagram, where they're not only just training in the gym, but they're training in the ring. So for me, I go, okay, Mercedes is a great wrestler. So if she's training with her, she has to be learning something. So from what I saw of Naya's triumphant return, quote unquote, it was kind of the same as what I'm used to seeing with her. But that being said, she didn't really do a whole lot. She kind of yeeted Raquel and then she leg dropped. Um, Rhea kind of pounded on her a little bit. To me, I didn't see a whole lot different from what it is that she did. She didn't mess up the leg drop, which is like, y'all hate on Dana Brooke a lot, and I'm trying to understand why. She's still got a job, you know. I mean, everyone's got it. There's got to be a fall person somewhere, and like maybe Dana Brooke is the Brooklyn Brawler of the WWE right now. Like, we need that fall guy. Get over it. Um, Naya, I don't know. I'm willing to give her the chance. I'm willing to see at least two matches, because the first one, there's going to be nerves. There's going to be the crowd. There's going to, like, coming back. This is the first time you're coming back. There's going to be a lot of things. We have to give her at least the benefit of two matches before we say, yep, this is shit again. She's worked really, really hard. We can't downgrade or devalue how much she has been working in this time, because look at her. She looks tremendous. I'm not gonna lie though, her outfit not good. It was not flattering when before. At least her outfit was a little bit more flattering to her body type. I felt this one was pulled and pinched in the wrong places, that actually didn't do her any favors, which is unfortunate because she actually looks a lot better than she did before, a lot healthier and a lot happier to be in her current situation. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. What do you think, Astrid?
I had to go back to this one because it's definitely made me laugh. Bob, you're telling me you don't like Dana Brooke next time. Well, next you'll tell me you're not a fan of Thea Hale. And then when we got Bobby, do I have a show for you? Yeah, it's on Tuesdays. It's called Taking Over.
Thea Hale, I've
Yeah.
actually heard some good things about. And the clip I saw about her the other day, where she was kind of being that little mean girl with the other little mean girl, I don't remember her name, which it's not Gigi,
Yeah.
it's the other one.
JC, yeah.
JC, right? I was gonna say they said the two names sound so similar.
Um,
But yeah, I like the bad girl kind of thing. Watching a cute little jot girl, it's almost like watching Sandy from Grease transition from the cutesy little hee hee into the tell me about it, stud kind of thing. So
yeah,
maybe we'll watch that transition. Maybe it'll come around to her.
yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those like I'm like I feel like I'm half and half, like because I'm not necessarily happy that she's here because I think about it from this way, based on the segment itself. That means she's inserting herself into the women's championship, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like right now there's so many other ladies that could have had the opportunity before Naya, especially returning.
I
So
agree with
I
that.
would have preferred that because I she just returned and just went for that. But at the same time, I think it's nice timing that Becky is gonna be a lot on NXT while this is happening, which is ironic being there. But that's the part that I was thinking of because Naya's not somebody that I like to see wrestle often. I know she's had like decent matches every now and then, but I'm not. It's not somebody that I could say, "Oh, I would like to watch Becky Lynch on a weekly basis," because I like Becky
Mhm.
Lynch. But it's like with
Yeah,
Naya,
there's
I
a
don't
lack
feel
of
the same.
consistency with Naya.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't feel the same with her. So it's like I'm not necessarily happy the way this is going. And
Mhm.
another thing that I think about too is like we had Rhea have several challengers, and obviously none of them have been able to take her down. But then all of a sudden, I suppose if they go this way, I'm not gonna enjoy the result because if they put her this way and then Naya beats Rhea, I'd be like,
Mhm.
why? Like, I don't want to see that happening. And I'm not entirely happy with the way they have been with Rhea's opponents, and that's a different story. But
Mhm.
at the same time, it's like I don't want Naya or people to defeat Rhea if it does happen. I will not be looking forward to that. And then have her like have like a similar title reign of like nobody's gonna be able to beat her because she's bigger than them and stronger than them. So it's gonna be that for a couple months. So it feels like the same
Mhm.
all over again in a type of way. I don't want a repeat of it.
That very valid point, and I do agree with you. I don't like it when someone has either not been with the company or has never been with the company and suddenly shows up and is like, "Hey, I want a title shot." Because my first thing is, "Yo, earn it." Show up, beat a few people up, earn your way up there. That's how you create a good story kind of going.
Mhm.
I think with Naya, they kind of feel like they already have this story because I think the company kind of in the back of its mind knew there was going to be a lot of objection to her return. In regards to the powerhouse kind of like dominating Rhea, yeah, we have seen that happen for sure. But recently we saw kind of like almost like a David and Goliath kind of thing happen in Stardom, where Julia defended her NJPW Strong Championship against Yu, who in herself is essentially the Japanese version of Nia Jax with a lot more talent. Um, but like Julia was able to kind of figure out how to not use what she usually uses as power against you and kind of outwork you with her technicality, and actually was able to overpower you in that respect. Maybe we could see Rhea pull the same thing on Naya, kind of pull out some new moves. Maybe we could see an evolution of Rhea Ripley's moveset.
A moment of silence for this.
Oh, Ed.
Ay, ay, ay.
You
But
can
no, it's
catch
like
our review of that Julia versus you match on Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk.
there you go. But yeah, it's one of those things like if I could have anybody that I like returning, I would like, for example, if somebody like Mickey James showed up, I wouldn't mind that because I would like to see Mickey James mix it up with the current talent. But like, if you tell me, oh, Nia Jax is returning, I'll be like,
We.
Why? Why is this happening? She's not one of those
Yeah.
people that if I had a list of people that I would like to see return or even debut to begin with, she would not be on my list. Not even
Yeah,
at
I
the
was
top.
gonna say she would not be on your list at all. She'd be on the list
No.
of people you don't want to see come back.
Yeah, so that's definitely like how I felt seeing her return. I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Like I knew something was gonna happen in this match. I just
Mhm.
was not expecting this of all things to happen. But
Mhm.
one person that I would like to see in WWE and see how she makes it up with this roster will be Jade Cargill, because Jade of all
Mhm.
people got teased that she's leaving AEW, and I know that I had a feeling something weird was happening in a way. I don't want to say weird, but like something odd was happening with the way the storyline was being like done, because we had her come in. I think it was Double or Nothing, if I'm mistaken. But at the pay per view, she loses the championship to Chris Statlander. Well,
Mhm.
she wins her match, and then she does an open challenge. We had Chris Statlander returning. She answers that she wins the championship. Jay doesn't get a rematch. She stays off TV for a couple weeks, I think a couple months at this point.
Mhm.
And then returns now, and it basically goes, "I won my rematch." And then as she wants her rematch, instead of setting it up for Grand Slam, which is the big show that we have with AEW, they put it for Rampage. And people were like, "Why is it happening at Rampage when it's a taped show? People are gonna know ahead of time what's gonna happen, and people are gonna
Mhm.
spoil it ahead of time as well." So I thought that was
100%.
really like the timing was the scheduling that was odd to me. And then watching the video that was posted on Twitter specifically where I saw it, it was after the match. Then we have obviously it's gonna be like a lot of people know about it, but just spoiler alert.
Mhm.
Um, Chris Statlander retains the championship, but then her and Jade have such a big hug. It felt like a kind of like a goodbye hug in a way. And then the report came in, I think from SRS, if I'm not mistaken, saying that people backstage were just like clapping for her. She went backstage and hugging people and everything. And it's like, that does feel like a goodbye sort of thing, as if she
Mhm.
couldn't wait until Grand Slam to have that championship match. And I think that I would have preferred it to see it then, but it looks like because her contract expires, I don't know if it's this past week that it happened or next week, then that's why the match is not happening at Grand Slam. So now we move forward to rumors that she's WWE bound, and I feel like there's so many like openings for her there in a way. So there's something interesting for me in that type of way, the way they would introduce her. So first, how do you feel about the part of Jade being one of the people jumping ship from AEW to WWE?
Confused. Like, because like what you just said doesn't make a whole ton of professional sense to me. Why even bother showing up for anything, even if you do want a title shot before you leave? Like, why get the fans hyped up for something like that only to be like, deuces, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and but like at the same time, on the other hand, good for her for starting with a company, evolving within the company. Like I remember when she first started, I'm not gonna lie, I thought she was trash in the ring. Like beautiful woman, and for me, a very big inspiration for like bodybuilding and working out. But like her in-ring performance was, we'll say, lackluster as opposed to her outfit. Her outfits were incredible, but her wrestling was stub. Um, Watching her grow and evolve into a very competent and very well-rounded wrestler before she lost the title was actually a privilege. Like I don't watch AEW regularly, but I do see a lot of the clips and stuff online because I follow them on social. I also follow the individual wrestlers on the socials. So, good for her for evolving and wanting to take her services elsewhere. That being said, I mean, I would love to see her team with the obvious in this situation for me, which is Bianca Belair. That right there, powerhouse of a tag team. Holy hot dang, you have two of the strongest women. I could see them having a lot of fun playing up the, oh, I'm stronger. No, I'm stronger. No, I'm stronger. I feel like the two of them have enough charisma that they could make that both very serious, but also very comedic, which I feel, again, not based on what I know or see from WWE. very, very limited because I don't watch the show. But from what I see, there's
Mhm.
not as much comedy spots on the main show as there is on NXT. I feel like NXT, there seems to be a lot more goofy, funny things kind of going on, whereas like the main shows, they kind of, why so serious? Want to see where I got my scars, kind of thing. Um, I feel like that could add a new kind of thing to the dynamic of the women's division. But in regards to like maybe going on like a one-on-one, I mean, obviously it makes sense to have her coming in with some of the powerhouses. So seeing her go against somebody like Rhea Ripley, Raquel, um, who's that other one who was with Trish Stratus? Zoe Starks.
Yeah, yeah.
She would even be a tremendous wrestler to kind of. In fact, I would think she would actually be the best person to debut against Cargill, just because they're both so strong, but they're like with Zoe, she's very very quick. So I feel like she would actually really make Cargill look really really good. Astor, what do you think about that?
I think one that I would like to see. Sorry, Bobby, I didn't mean to do that. One, I know it's something that it's not gonna happen right away because I want her to. I know she's not the best wrestler in that sense because I feel like she
Mhm,
can still improve. Jade, she's still very green, but
mhm.
I would like her once she grows more. I would like to see her against Charlotte Flair because I think they will be kind of like that
Ooh.
powerhouse kind of dynamic. I would like to see that, and I could see them
Mhm.
like showing their athleticism at the same time. So I think that one would be one that would be very interesting,
Oh,
but not
wow.
one that I would do right from the get go. It would be something like I
Mhm.
would do once she's built up a little bit more
Maybe once
because
she's,
I
like, worked with some of the girls a little bit more, yeah,
yeah, so
100%.
definitely like having her when she has a little bit more time, because I know that's why I say she's not necessarily the best. I know she has grown a lot
Mhm,
training under Brian there in AEW, but that's why I wonder how they're gonna place her because there's rumors that she's gonna jump to the main roster, whereas other people are already like speculating she's gonna be part of NXT. But being that I watch NXT on a weekly basis, they have the breakout tournament coming out soon. So I was wondering, is that maybe the way to like introduce her in there? So
that would
would
be
that be
smart.
the way, or if it's in the main roster, as people are saying, then we also have Cody stating that there's somebody going to go to SmackDown pretty soon, but he hasn't been able to say who. So people are like, what if it's Cody introducing her of people who have seen her before in AEW, and then basically was the way to introduce her in AEW. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I would have liked her to see her in NXT and like develop a little bit more because I feel like she has a character, but I feel like her wrestling needs more development. So I would like to see that, especially like on the mic too. I feel like so far she has one thing that I like about her, just like Bianca, is that they have a lot of like they're really marketable in that sort of way.
Oh,
They have so many
100%.
connections, and I feel like AW kind of used her a little bit, but they could have done more with her in that aspect. And I feel like they're learning from Bianca. I feel like they can do that with Jade as well. So I think that's something that I
Mhm,
would like to see happen as well. But
mhm,
and she
mhm,
does, I think it'll be really interesting to like mix it up and have her be one of the few people jump from AW to WWE and mix it up with the ladies that we have now. They like that's somebody that I would like to see compared to Nia Jax, for example. But I
mhm,
feel like either way, it'll be one of those things that we have to wait and see if it does happen. And if it does, I want to see what's going to be the direction like for her here. And if they
mhm.
change her name, because another thing, they don't use her real names in the baby most of the time. So I think that'll be interesting to see what name they do give her over there. That's I don't know if I'm looking forward to that part of it.
Mhm.
I want to go back to Jim's comment here. For me, the one I want to see in W is Lady Frost. My cargo could benefit greatly from learning at the PC ropes while she's still a newer talent. Yeah, the Lady Frost is definitely more like she's has been leaning more towards Ring of Honor. I know
Mhm,
she's been like mixing it up with the roster there, hence why she's still kind of doing indies dates, but just being in Ring of Honor when possible. But if
mhm.
we could have her in WB, I wouldn't mind it. Like one thing I do miss seeing is the women's tournament. We didn't get to have that in quite a while. Like I know I mentioned it not too long ago too. The Mae Young Classic. So it's like I will rename it, but still do something like that to bring all these people like this and introduce
Mhm.
us in WWE to people like Lady Frost because she's incredible. And I know she was a squash match for Nia Jax in Raw before. So I would definitely like to see her like
Mhm.
her athleticism mix it up here. But if you haven't seen her in quite a while, definitely check out Ring of Honor because she's been there a few times at this point as well. Um,
Wasn't Lady Frost on with Asuka also? She got knocked out by Asuka?
yeah, she did. Yeah,
Mhm. And yeah, which, I mean, it's Asuka, right?
yeah.
Makes sense. But yeah, Lady Frost, she's been tearing it up also. CMLL, didn't she win a couple of their tournaments
Yeah.
kind of earlier in the year? Like she's doing
She's
very,
been all
very
over the
well.
place. She definitely is one of those people that
Mhm.
doesn't really stop. So that's what I like about her. You can see her in
Yeah.
so many places.
Hmm.
Another person that may be going places though, if you hadn't
Hmm.
seen it, Kamille from NWA has been teasing about her future within the company. It doesn't obviously teasing of like whether she'll stay or she'll go. I think that's another one that would be interesting to see because she's another powerhouse like that. That's somebody I would like
Hmm.
to see against a kind of like a Charlotte or even a Bianca too. And just thinking about like first she had a great reign 800 plus days as the NW Women's World Champion, and
Hmm.
now I think it'll be interesting to see her without a championship after it hasn't happened in quite a while. But then
Yeah.
teasing as well about leaving NWA, so it's like I wonder how that'd be for her because I feel like she definitely would flourish more in a company that does care about women's wrestling. So I feel like
Hmm.
somewhere like an Impact or maybe like an NXT will be a good fit for her. But still, I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing her wherever she goes next. Is I want to see her like mix it up with other women, especially
Hmm.
like you said, like powerful women like that. I don't know if you saw like her post. I know I sent you a couple of her postings too about her losing and things like that. But Camille's a great talent, and I think that like whoever picks her up next is definitely going to benefit from having her in the roster, though. And what did you think about if she does leave NWA?
I'm not like some of the people on the internet who are like, well, you should be loyal to your company. These companies, they, I don't want to say that NWA is a stepping stone because it's not. It's its own pillar in its own right. But that being said, 800 plus day reign. That means she's been with that company and championing that company for quite a hot minute. um, it's time for a change. And eventually you get to a point in time where you do have to evolve and you do have to move on. And I agree. I haven't heard a lot of, again, I don't watch NWA regularly. I know who Camille is, though. I absolutely love Camille. I've seen a few of her matches, particularly with Taya Valkyrie, which are just good golly, Miss Molly. If you can get a hold of those matches, you are in for a treat, my friends. Um, but yeah, in regards to her leaving, I think it's a good thing. It's just like I think it was a good thing for Cargill if she is going to WWE. You do need to evolve in your career. You need to go, somewhere else because if you become stagnant, people are going to forget about you. And Camille, I think, is young enough that people shouldn't be forgetting about her, and she's also talented enough that she shouldn't be being forgotten quite yet. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to hear this because maybe that means I have an opportunity to see her a little bit more. And hey, Japan's always open. Come on
Yeah.
over, honey.
Plus, if I get to support another company that's not NWA, I will gladly do that too.
Have not
Trust me.
heard good things about that one. No.
No. I think another thing that I really wanted to get your mostly your thoughts on it because I have my thoughts on it already mentioned during taking over. But we had Becky Lynch now winning the NXT Women's Championship on Tuesday unexpectedly.
Mhm.
Um, the one thing that I wanted to give you as a preface beforehand is like for my end of it, I don't mind seeing it. At the end, it's great to have her mix it up with these ladies in the roster here for them to
Mhm.
learn from her. I definitely wrote about it for Body Slam, so if you haven't checked out that piece, please do so. It's on my Twitter account. You can see it on my highlights. But my main thing is like I noticed that they don't have a veteran presence in the roster right now, so it's great to have her down there and have people learn from her as much as they can. Um,
Mhm.
the one thing for me was definitely unexpected because I was expecting more like to continue that storyline that Tiffany is cheating because that's how she's been winning her matches. Have her
Mhm.
cheat this one out, and then Becky wanting a rematch going towards the pay per view, which is No Mercy coming up at the end of the month. So I was thinking this is going to boost the ticket sales. People are going to want to see Becky Lynch. It doesn't
Mhm.
happen often that she's in NXT. Last time it happened, she won against Rhea of all people. So it's like
Mhm.
this is the second time she only comes down like this since her main roster debut. So I kept thinking it's not gonna happen on a random Tuesday that doesn't have a special to it or anything, is it? Right? And then we ended up the night with her being the horsewoman. She was the last one to be Grand Slam now because that was the only championship she needed to be Grand Slam. So now all the
Mhm.
four horsewomen have been to be Grand Slam champions, which I like to see and like as one of those stats is like amazing to see as well.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it just I something that was unexpected for me having like when it happened I remember like thinking about it is like no way this is happening on a random Tuesday like this. But no, very happy for Becky. I'm a fan of Becky Lynch, to see her like being with this roster something that I'm interested in watching. But I don't know. What did you think of it happening? I guess like on a random Tuesday of all the places, of all days like this happening.
I've been hearing a bit about Tiffany and how she was almost, I don't want to say almost a Mandy Rose esque character, but it seems like she has kind of replaced
She's a
that
Barbie
void,
character. Yeah.
that absence that had been created with Mandy Rose's departure. Um, Becky, I mean, I love Becky Lynch. She's a tremendous in ring competitor. And that being said, if there is no veteran presence on NXT, I mean, power to her. Being the last horsewoman to get that Grand Slam kind of thing shouldn't be what we focus on here, because how much has Becky done that the other horsemen haven't done in the meantime? As she made the point to Miss Loudmouth Bailey, when was the last time you main evented WrestleMania? Mm-mm. Wow, wow.
And at least
Um,
she's, yeah, Bailey's the only one that hasn't main evented at WrestleMania, because first it was Charlotte and Becky together, and then Sasha did it with Bianca. So the only horseman that has main evented is Bailey of all of them.
Go figure, right? Like, go figure. Mind you, I felt like Bailey was kind of the one who was kind of, I don't want to say limping behind the rest of them, but she certainly seemed to be, until this point, the last person to kind of fall in and get that kind of chance or opportunity and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, I feel that the NXT locker room can only benefit, both men and women can benefit with having her there, because if she's there, her husband's going to be coming around to visit her a little bit, and they can only benefit from his addition in the backstage area also. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. If anyone's unhappy about this, I got to ask why.
Oh, I like Ed's point here. However, Bailey is the only Money in the Bank winner out of the horsewomen.
Okay,
Yeah, that is very true.
that is fair. That is
Yeah,
fair.
I like how Ed had wanted this like Tiffy time thing forever. Tiffy, where Tiffany's on screen for him. So I made this for him. Well, the audio didn't come through. He made that, and I put the audio on top, but it's not coming through. But it's just funny because I finally got the audio to work, so he can get the graphic for himself, and then Tiffany loses the championship, and I say, "What a great time after I made that happen." Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you very much.
Irony.
The timing. But I figured this is your time. I know you had at least what 2, 3 topics to speak about when it came to stardom. So
Oh,
I figured I
we
give
got
my
two we
stardom
can
lady
run
her
by real
moment.
quick. Pull up my chart here. So we wanted to well, I just wanted to briefly let you guys know that the 5-star Grand Prix tournament in Stardom is still going on, and interesting developments been going on within this one. After Saya Kamitani obviously unable to perform because of her buggity shoulder. If you guys can get a hold of that match to watch it, it was against Tam Nakano, which is a World of Stardom champion. That's the highest tiered belt that they can have in that one. There was glorious chaos, as I love to say. There were people yeeting themselves off of all kinds of things, and unfortunately, that's what resulted in Saya's shoulder injury there. But right now in the division, they have the Blue Star division as well as the Red Star division. We have Julia, obviously, leading the 5-star Grand Prix in the Blue Stars. You've got people like Utami Hayashishita, Sayori Anu, which is a surprise to me, who are still in the running to potentially overtake Julia in that, which I'm personally very happy about, because, Utami is my personal favorite active female wrestler right now, just because of how strong she is, how good she is, but she's also got this just effortless charisma that just seems to just come out without even speaking. I absolutely love her. But again, Julia, number one in the Blue Star division, and working very hard to pick up those wins. The last couple of matches that she has had, she's really had to struggle with. But again, Sayori, another one that I'm surprised about. She's not my favorite in regards to personality, because she just seems to lack one while she's in the ring. But her in-ring talent is just absolutely incredible. But what I really wanted to talk about is this Red Star division, because girl, there is this. I call this one. This is kind of like the powerhouse kind of group of the girls in this tournament, and it was for a while there kind of close in the numbers of who was going to be what, and people were chasing after that top spot. But out of nowhere, one of my personal favorites, she's definitely been working very, very hard the last couple of months. She's moved up from being one of my top 10 favorites to now being my number 2 favorite within this company. Leading the red star and the blue star with 12 points is Natsuko Tora. And this woman is just an absolute powerhouse. She has only suffered one loss in this tournament, ironically, to one of her stablemates, Starlight Kid. But otherwise, there she is. Look at that woman, my goodness. Yeah, she's actually been pretty much, other than her blemish with Starlight Kid, she's been undefeated. And why I'm so impressed with this is that she has come into this and she beat Natsupoi, who is one half of the Goddess of Stardom champion. So that's their highest rated tag team championship. She's also beaten um, Suzu Suzuki, who you know, a deathmatch specialist. That woman is just, she oozes violence. She defeated Suzu Suzuki. She's also defeated, who was the other one? Natsupoi. She's defeated Suri, who arguably one of the strongest, most dominant women in professional wrestling in general. She's beaten Tam Nakano, the World of Stardom champion. So the winner of this tournament gets an opportunity at Tam Nakano and the World of Stardom championship, but she's already beaten her.
Mhm.
And she's actually already booked in on that attempt and challenge there. She is actually confirmed to be, I believe it's the October 9th show. Natsuko Tora will be taking on Tam Nakano for the World of Stardom Championship. Like, I cannot wait for that match, because if they are able to put on the same match that they were able to put on in this 5-star Grand Prix, holy hot damn. But the biggest thing, as Bobby says here, is that she also beat Mayu Iwatani, and that match was an absolute banger. These women were hitting each other as hard as possible. The win to me actually was very sudden at the end there. And what I've really, really loved about Tora, particularly in this tournament, is we have seen her starting to evolve her move set. She's starting to do a little bit more with submissions, which we haven't really seen her do before. She used to have them, but she's usually been more focused on being that powerhouse, power move, and just yeeting people around for quite some time. Now in this tournament, we're seeing her slow things down. We're seeing her tie people up. And my favorite part is we are seeing her do the mist, that nice, weird color mist that just has been absolutely devastating, and actually was partially the reason why Mayu Iwatani was unable to pick up that win. She just ate all of that right in the face to actually break up a pin. And after that point, Tora was able to redominate her. It absolutely incredible. I don't think that anybody is going to be able to catch Tora in this tournament. She's arguably beaten 5 of the most powerful women in the tournament all around. We're just lucky that Utami isn't in this division, because her and Utami just hate each other, and their fights have absolutely been legendary. Um, yeah, see, Tora winning people over there. You know, when she first came into, like, when I first started seeing her, she was not somebody that I was particularly, excited to see. She just kind of, but when I started watching, she was also injured. She was coming off a pretty severe, I believe it was torn ACL. So she wasn't actually wrestling actively for the first, I think, 5 or 6 months that I was actually watching Stardom. Now that she's kind of found her groove again, I think we're starting to get ready to see Tora start branching outwards and start coming to other places, because her look, especially her makeup, has changed a lot. She used to just have that red stripe on her face.
Mhm.
Now the girl's wearing more glam than I am. She's got a cut crease. I can't even do a cut crease. Highlight. She's looking amazing. I feel like they're preparing her, just like they're kind of preparing Mina Shirakawa. I think those two women are going to be going international soon, and I think the world is not ready for Natsuka Tora. But man, whew.
Yeah, I figured first I will start with saying, if you haven't checked out Corey, Corey does a lot of writing. So thank you, Corey, for being here. He's the person that looks at my writing before I publish it anywhere with body slam specifically. So
Agreed.
he knows what my mind is at this point. So he's one of those people that has helped me find my voice in my writing. So thank you, Corey. But if you haven't checked him out, he does a lot of great writing. So please check him out if you haven't.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
you said international, and the moment you started talking, I forgot to put this in before we did the show though.
Uh-oh.
Um, I kept thinking of the show that
Oh,
I'm hoping to go to.
yes.
This is happening in October in Orlando. I think
Yes.
October 14th, if I'm not mistaken. So these are the graphics so far that
Oh,
I
Andre's
saw.
favorite. Maya
Yeah,
Wiki.
I know Sumi was putting this up on social media, so I've been looking at it. I was like, there's so many like, is it Tamashita? I know I Yamashita. I know I wanted to see her.
Yamashita, yeah.
Danny's
And then
another
Luna
one I've been wanting
Watanabe.
to see, and Jesse too, and Zaya Brookside. So I was like, I'm
Yes,
excited to see through this.
Cardenas.
And Emmy, I want to see Queen Emmy Sakura. Come on, of all people, like I would like to see her wrestle. So I'm definitely like when you said international, I kept thinking of it of like, hey, I'm like,
Ran Kaichou, also one you're going to want to see because that girl's, she might be tiny, but she's mighty. You might be able
yeah.
to look her in the eye. She's very short.
And the one thing I like is like I haven't been to this venue before, but I was looking at the tickets and it's so close already. Like thinking about how close it'll be, like to the action. I was like, I definitely want to go see it. So it made me excited because I like a lot of people. For those of you that don't know, Mel and I are very opposite when it comes to the companies that we watch. And that's why we like to do the shows together because we have different points of views. We're
Absolutely.
not afraid to disagree or agree with each other. If you haven't
Mhm.
noticed, I watch of like WWE, AEW, NXT, Impact, and she was NJPW and Stardom. So we definitely have our different styles that we like.
Mhm.
So when I started seeing the graphics for this, I saw this one first, and I thought, oh my god, I want to see Emmy in person, and Sumi, I want to see in person. And then I saw the rest of them happening. I was like, holy crap! Well, I couldn't forget about Kaylin King. I haven't seen her
Saki.
yet,
Saki is
and
one you're going to love.
yeah. So I kept thinking when I saw this, I was like, I wish Mel was closer to me because I would definitely
Oh,
take her to watch this with me because I haven't seen any kind of Yoshi wrestling in the area before.
mhm.
So when I started seeing this popping up on my timeline, I'm like, this is very tempting because it doesn't happen often when they come here. But I definitely like I am excited to like watch it. I'm hoping to go. It all depends on my schedule in that weekend. Hopefully with work. If I don't work, I'm definitely gonna try to go. But one thing I did want to mention as well that I'm excited to is the Royal Rumble got announced that it's happening in Tampa in January. And myself, I've only been to WrestleManias. I've only been to the WrestleMania so far. I think like four, maybe five of them at this point. I've been to the one in Orlando. I've been to one in Miami. I did New Orleans and Jersey. And if I'm not mistaken, that's about it. Um, but I wanted to watch other pay per views that were not just WrestleMania. So I thought if they do other pay per views, I'll go to those instead of traveling for WrestleMania again because I want to have a different experience. And for those of you that know me, I like having lists and goals, especially when it comes to like every aspect of my life. And one of my goals within wrestling media has been to attend the Royal Rumble and to hopefully do the press conference and all that stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it'll work out for me. I do have a way to be able to do that. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm really excited because I get to attend the Royal Rumble for the first time, be in
Yay.
Tampa, and have a weekend of meeting the people that I've been wanting to meet, the connections I made on social media, meet them in person, and get to cover the pay per view at the same time, and hopefully do that press conference. That's one of my goals that I've been wanting to do. So mark it here, September 15th. I said that I've been wanting to do the press conference. Hopefully it happens. But no, really excited for like the events because I'm like looking forward to this show. Hopefully I get to go. I know I'll be going to the Rumble for sure, but thinking about like, all the wrestling shows I've been able to go to this year, like it hasn't been that many, but just thinking it's more than it had been before. So I'm very glad it's happening. But I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to discuss. I think you had one more point, if I'm not mistaken, before I keep going. Oh, we keep going.
No, no.
No?
I'm just excited that you get that amazing opportunity and then the opportunity to meet so many people that we've also had the opportunity to connect with over the last
Yeah.
year. That's going to be so much fun. Maybe Miss Thickens will be there. That would
Oh,
be amazing. Shout out Miss
yeah.
Thickens. you don't follow her, she's on X and also on Twitch. She's doing a lot of like
Yeah,
reviews, gameplay. She's really fun, really nice girl,
yeah,
really pretty.
yeah. I have a list of people depending if they come or not to meet, but no, I figured now will be the time. And I don't think I have it here, but where can we find you, Miss Smallball?
If you're wanting to follow a Melball, you can follow her on the X thing at Collins Melball and everything else Facebook, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at Melball Collins. You can also find me on our YouTube channel, Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk. We have been doing a hot diggity dang lot of minutes with our videos, but also you can catch a Melball at the Edmonton Expo September 16th at 3 p.m. in the anime room, where we're going to be talking all things amazing Japanese wrestling. I am so excited for that and nervous. Finishing up the PowerPoint after we get off of here. That's going to be
I like how
some.
that we both can say we're panelists now because after tomorrow, you're part of that too now.
Yes. Moving up in the world.
I like
Doing
how the
stuff.
lady says, "I got blue sky." She's like, "I got one of those invites to go in there now."
Yes, I did. Because of
So,
Astrid, I got that
mhm.
amazing invite.
Yeah, there you go. Now for me, after this, hopefully I will be recording an interview if it does happen with Women's Wrestling Talk. I don't know when it will be out, so I definitely watch out for my socials when it will be out. It'll be the first interview I do for Women's Wrestling Talk, so I'm excited and nervous at the same time. But I'm also recording an episode of Astrid Ask hopefully tomorrow if everything goes well. So that will be hopefully released the weekend after on my YouTube channel. As if all of you, anybody watching it now, please subscribe to the channel and click on that bell to be notified when I'm live or when I upload. I've been doing weekly vlogs and showing about a little bit of what I'm reading, which is something other than wrestling on my channel. I wanted to show off a little bit more of what I do aside from wrestling that you guys see so often. But aside from that, you can find me on Instagram and Threads as Astrid Pizarro 20, and then X and Blue Sky is Astrid Pizarro as well. You can find a lot of my highlights in my highlights section on Twitter. You can find my body slam articles that I've done in the past. I've written about AEW, WWE, and now most recently I just wrote about Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton that just happened on Tuesday. So I'm really excited for the opportunities I get with Body Slam as well. But no, I figured I would do a favor because he's done it to us before. So before we head on, I'm gonna try. Hopefully, I don't think I'll be able to do it. Let's see if it does happen. I want to try to rate Tom Collier because he's been a supporter of us in the past as well.
Oh,
Let's see if it does
Tom.
happen. But no, I want to thank Tom because he's been a great supporter of us. So like he's helped with like the aspect of like me growing on YouTube and learning things from him that I can
Mhm.
hear in there. So he's been a great source for that as well. And he's rated us, but in our YouTube channel as well. But I figured I don't know how to rate on YouTube, so I'll rate on Twitch. So, but no, I want to thank everybody for being here with us today. If you haven't yet, I will upload this on Sunday on the podcast platform. So if you're watching or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, that's a moment to do so as well. But no, everybody, I want to thank you also for your support. If you go as well on my Twitter, you'll see any of my Instagram, my link for the W Shop affiliate. So whenever you go to W Shop, you can shop there and use my link, and I get a little percentage off with that. See, that's amazing, and you get to support both of us as we improve things on the channel as well. So
Yay.
um, but I want to thank everybody for watching. If you're on Twitch, I'm going to send you over to Tom Caller here, and you can send that we sent you and thank him for the support he's done to our channel as well. And thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see you next time.